For round 20, we're going to go back to the lavender yarn and connect up with the lavender ones down below. So we're going to start looking for an increase again and join the yarn in the first stitch in the increase, and we're going to start with 8 single crochet. So the join is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After that we have our increase. So that's 2. And the same one. Now we've got 5 single crochet before our front post. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Get the tail out of the way there. So you notice we're over here, we're actually coming around to this one on this side, so it's going to be pretty far over here. So we're going to do a front post double treble. So yarn over 3 times at least. You may need a 4th. Oh, sorry. That tail is just driving me crazy where it is. Yarn over at least 3 times. You may need a 4th one to be able to reach. We're going to go ahead and grab this guy here. Finish the stitch. This is just a single one, not 2 together or anything like that. Finish it there. Remember to skip the stitch. And we're going to finish this section with 4 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That leaves us right next to the increase, so we can start the next repeat. So here's our repeat. It is getting a little curly. We're going to have a round soon where we don't do an increase, which should help flatten it out a bit. So we join in the first stitch in an increase. We have 8 single crochet followed by our increase for this round. 5 single crochet bring us into place for the front post. A front post double treble, yarn over 3 times. If you need to, yarn over 4. Skip the stitch behind it, and then 4 single crochet bring you to the next increase and the end of that repeat. So 8 increase, 5 front post double treble, 4. That's it. Go ahead and do that 8 times around. For round 22, we've got the magenta yarn again, which is going to connect up to these, and we're going to have a crisscross where we have to go under this lavender one. It's not quite as easy as going over it the way we did before. So for this one to start, we need an increase, and we want 9 single crochet. So the join counts as the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5. And 9. So that gets us just past the lavender front post. Now we want another front post double treble connecting to this magenta here, but we don't want to come over the lavender, we want to go under it. So yarn over 3 times, go underneath the lavender, around your magenta, just bring that up through so that you can finish the stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna skip that stitch and put our first single crochet in the one after that. And I'm just gonna stop for a second to show you how those two crisscross with the magenta going under so that it's opposite here. So magenta over here, under for this one. So after this front post that went underneath there, we're going to need 5 single crochet. So I did the first one already to sort of lock it down. So this is 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we have our increase. And 4 more should finish this out. 4 single crochet. So that's 2, 3, 4, and I'm right up to the next increase, so we know we got the repeat done. So this is our repeat. You can, of course, just do this magenta over the lavender if you're having trouble doing it under, but it does look much better and kind of cool to have them sort of weave in and out of each other. So we start in the first stitch of an increase, 9 single crochet, bring us all the way over to this side. Our front post double treble underneath the lavender and then around this magenta. Make sure you skip the stitch behind it, then 5 single crochet before an increase, and then 4 single crochet, finish it out. That's round 21. I think I said 22 when I started. I apologize. This is round 21. And after this, we'll be ready for round 22. There you go, 8 times around. Now we're on to round 22. We're going to go back to the pink yarn and connect up to this guy here. It's going to be quite a stretch again, so we're going to yarn over a bunch of times to do this. For this one, we want to start in the first stitch of an increase again. So let me tool around here till I find an increase. Here we go. First stitch, and we want 8 right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And like I said, we have a long way to stretch here for this one. So we're going to yarn over 4 times to do a front post triple treble. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times at least. You may need another one. You want to grab this and finish the stitch. We're going to skip the stitch behind it like we always do, or at least generally do, and 6 single crochet come after. This is 3, 4, 5, 6. After this, we have our increase. And now 5 single crochet. Two, 3, 4, 5, and that brings us up to the next increase, which is where we need to start the repeat again. So this is our repeat this time. Like I said, this is quite a little stretch here, and actually I need to get that all the way up. See, so we're bending over this way a little bit. You want to start in the first stitch of an increase. We have 8 single crochet before our front post. I recommend yarning over at least 4 times, if not 5. So do at least a front post triple treble, skip 1, 6 single crochet, an increase, and 5 single crochet to finish it out. So that's your repeat. You want to do it 8 times, and then we go on to the next round, which is round 23. All right, we're on to round 23, where we're going to use, or I'm going to use this blue yarn again. This is a great round to use a textured yarn if you have one, but not something as crazy as the one I used down here, because we're going to be doing some spike stitches again, and those can be tough with a super textured yarn. So what I do have is this yarn, which is one of my favorites. It's very, very thin with these little puffs of textured color. So what I do is I put it together with this blue yarn so that I can use it so that the weight is appropriate. So if you have a nicely textured yarn that's just slightly textured, this is a great spot for it. Otherwise, go ahead and use the same light blue we used down here. Or frankly any color you want, because this is one of those free rounds where we're not connecting up to anything else, so you can play with the colors a bit. All right, for the repeat here, we're going to join in one of these pink front posts right here, and where we join, that's going to count as our first single crochet. So like I said, we're going to be doing a bunch of spike stitches here, so it's got a slightly different kind of pattern. We start with 1 single crochet, and then we're going to do a spike followed by 2 single crochet, and that spike 2 single crochet we're going to do 7 times total. So this was 1, we do another spike followed by a couple of singles, that's 2, a spike, oops, missed that, followed by a couple of singles, that's 3. You can see here why I'm not a big fan of using a heavily textured yarn, because it really can get in the way of these guys. We got 4. 5, 6, 7. So we'll have our last one, the spike, and 2 single crochet, which leads us right back to this front post. Now, the only trick to this repeat that you want to be careful of is starting with that extra single crochet here. So we start with a single crochet, then we do our spike 2 pattern on and on until we get to the front post again. So we end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those spike stitches with 2 single crochets after it. Just don't forget that single crochet in the front post before you start them. So that's the repeat. If you got some textured yarn here, again, this is a great place to bring it into play. Repeat that 8 times around, and then we go back to connecting up to these front posts again.